have a couple of friends who just retired, and of course, our conversations more and more are about Medicare. I mean, if you're turning 65 this year, there are a lot of questions to be answered, and I don't know about you, but I don't want to sort through all of that. I mean, I don't even know how many plans there are. Kevin Hovis, Vice President of Medicare Sales at Hovis Associates, knows all of those answers. Welcome back to the show, Kevin.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
How many plans are there?
Well, if you're going by in the St. Louis County, you're probably looking at over 40 plan options available.
So St. Louis County is different than St. Louis City or different than Illinois?
So a lot of the plans work on what's called a service area, and St. Louis County doesn't necessarily have the same plans as, say, Franklin County.
Oh, my gosh.
St. Francis County.
Okay.
Before we started, I asked you, why does this have to be so difficult? And now I'm realizing it's even more difficult than I thought. County to county is different.
That is correct. Mostly the metro area has all the same plans available, but we still need to look at your county, where you live, and see what plans are available.
Is it rural versus?
A lot of times you'll have different rates on Medicare supplements. You'll have different plans available based on the county you live in. So, and that changes from year to year. We have some new plans available in more rural areas this year for the first time. So plans expand their service area, and that's what we give those options to our clients and let them know that new plan's available.
So right now we're in the annual enrollment period.
Correct.
And how long is that period?
So that started on October 15th and runs through December 7th.
And what exactly does that mean? What if someone doesn't go look at their plan during this time?
Yeah, the annual enrollment period is the time where members can choose to change their Medicare Advantage plan or their prescription drug plan. So during that time, we make that change, and they will be effective on January 1st. And then they will be on that plan for the rest of 2023.
So let's say in the last 6 months, someone has found out they're diabetic. Then they need to go and change their prescription plan?
They may need to based on what plan they're on for 2022. Their current plan for 2022 may not even cover that new prescription that they found out about over the summer. So that's where we would look at that and make sure we would put them on a plan that covers everything they're currently
maybe
taking.
the next 6 months you're kind of SOL, but the following year
during this time we can put them on the correct plan based on what their prescription.
So what about if you miss that? Like my wife, we got back from vacation and she found out, I missed open enrollment at work for some things, and she thinks she's just out of luck. What happens if you miss?
Well, in the Medicare arena, based on what type of plan you have, if you don't make your change by December 7th, you will be on the same plan you're on for the rest of all of 2023.
The rest of the year, you can't change it.
Correct.
That could cost you how much money?
That's
Thousands.
what I'm saying. A lot of people, they have to be notified if their plan changes at all for the next year, any changes at all. A lot of people, their plan may cover their prescriptions right now, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be covered for 2023. So a lot of times, if somebody doesn't pay attention, they go to the pharmacist the first week of January and find out their really expensive insulin isn't covered for next year. There's nothing they can do about it for all of 2023.
So someone can come into you with a list of their medications and say, help, and you will?
Yeah, so we have clients that don't take any prescriptions. We have some that take up to 25, and we can run that on our software and see what's going to be the best plan based on their certain prescriptions that they're taking.
And I've heard Jennifer Blome talk about this constantly. You don't charge anything. Somebody comes and sits down with you. You aren't going to charge them $500 for that consultation.
No, we do not have a consultation fee. Any plan reviews that we do is at no cost to the member. We get compensated by the company that we would enroll them on. So if we don't end up changing their plan, the member's out no cost.
So you would just kind of say, well, we tried to help you, but you're actually doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, a lot of times we'll meet with somebody and they're actually already on the plan that's best for their situation. And if they don't need to change for 2023, we let them know that, and we'll talk to them in the next year.
You don't get paid.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
But at least you're honest.
Sure. Yeah.
So is that how it's always worked? I mean, that seems, my tax guy, I have to pay him.
Well, the Medicare market's pretty regulated by the government. So, there's only things, the way we get paid is set by.
I like that. We have a free person to go to sort all this out, because it is admittedly one of the most confusing things out there.
And then we get paid the same no matter which plan we sign them up for, so we have no incentive to
push.
Switch them from
That's
one
good to
plan
know, too.
Yeah.
Right.
Kevin, somebody is wondering, can you be on a regular insurance and Medicaid, Medicare at the same time?
Based on your employer coverage, you may need Medicare Part A and Part B, which is original Medicare. Every employer coverage is different, so that's why we would need to set an appointment and look at your individual situation to see how that's going to affect it if you need to sign up for Medicare Part A and or Part B. A lot of times members won't sign up for Part B because it has a monthly premium. So that's one of the biggest questions that we get all the time is, if I don't sign up for Part B when I'm first eligible for Medicare at 65, will I be penalized when I sign up later? And every time we get this question so many times, the answer is you will not be penalized as long as you have credible coverage
somewhere else
in between the time you're 65 and when you do enroll in Part B.
Should somebody, even if they're working, make contact and kind of know what's going on at 65? I mean, is that a good idea to just sit down with you?
Yeah, definitely, because we can compare what their current coverage is through the employer, and a lot of times original Medicare and a Medicare supplement or switching to a Medicare Advantage plan is going to be much more cost-effective for them than staying on their employer coverage.
Yeah. Somebody else, what is the age for these plans? Do you have to be 65?
The majority of people are eligible for Medicare at 65. Other people can qualify if they have a disability.
Okay.
So it seems like they're raising the age of certain things. What is that? Required minimum distribution.
That's for your Social Security.
Yeah, that keeps going up, and everything's going up. We're living longer these days. Do you see that 65 age getting 66, 67?
I mean, based on the the budget with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, they may want to push it off, but I think here, a lot of times, especially with the election right around the corner, the politicians who make these decisions know that the seniors are the ones that vote.
Yeah. Because they're off on Tuesday afternoon.
They don't want to do anything to negatively affect the seniors.
It all goes back to that, doesn't it? We're talking to Kevin Hovis, Vice President of Medicare Sales at Hovis Associates, which you guys have been an independent Medicare consulting firm here in St. Louis for more than 35 years. How has Medicare changed in that time?
Well, yeah, probably the biggest change was back in 2006 when they added Part D, which is your prescription drug coverage. You can either get that through a standalone prescription drug plan or inside of a Medicare Advantage plan. That's really when there were some changes in Medicare Advantage. Like, that's what I'm saying. We have over 40 Medicare Advantage options in St. Louis County.
I mean, if somebody doesn't come to you, how do they know?
It is really complicated if you try to do it yourself, but we do this all day, every day. And like you said, we've been doing this for over 35 years. So
and it's free.
Yeah.
It does not cost the client anything.
It's built in to the service, I guess, or at least from my point of view.
Sure.
Well, and while we're on the topic, you can call toll free to schedule your appointment, 833-827-5173. Mention KTRS. You can also visit the website, hovisandassociates.com.
Have you noticed more people come in now as opposed to earlier, the baby boomers and all that stuff?
Well, I think, if you see these national commercials that are on TV with some retired football players that are talking a lot.
Yeah, that commercial is on during one of my son's, kid shows. What's Joe Namath doing in the middle of Cocomelon?
Seniors are watching shows with their
grandkids.
Yeah. So, but that has gotten the phone to ring a lot more to our office, which, a lot of people don't like those commercials, but it gets people interested and asking questions, which gets them to call us. What's confusing about those commercials is they'll talk about benefits across the country that aren't necessarily available here in the St. Louis area.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what confuses people, which is why now on those commercials you'll see it has to say based on the zip code you live in.
I'll have to watch for that.
That disclaimer now on those commercials.
Kevin, another question for you. They work at UPS. Their health benefits are really good, free for the wife and the employee. Any reason to look at Part A? We're both over 65.
The group coverage may want you to take Medicare Part A. That's why, you may want to talk to your HR department at UPS, but also you can come set an appointment with us, and we'll compare your current coverage at UPS versus what you may or may not be able to get on a Medicare plan.
Yeah, that's a good question. So my wife and I, we have separate insurances, but I know that we've got friends, and they're all, well, I'm under my wife's insurance. Mm-hmm. When it comes to Medicare and Medicaid, is it an individual thing, or can people sign up as couples?
Yeah, all Medicare plans are individual.
Individual.
So one spouse can have one type of plan, one spouse could have a different type of plan, or you could have the same type of plan but have different carriers. It all depends on your certain situation.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we analyze everybody on an individual basis. What prescriptions are you taking? What doctors do you want to go to? What hospitals do you want to go to? And then we kind of narrow down what's going to be your best option based on that information.
Your original meeting with someone when they come in, because it sounds like you got to ask a lot of questions, last about how long?
Well, we like to gather a lot of that information prior to them actually coming in, so we can do our homework before they come in and we sit down with them to kind of speed up the process a little bit.
Sure. Somebody is wondering if you offer this service in Kansas City.
We do. We personally do not have Hovis Associates offices in Kansas City, but I can get them in touch with some agents that work through our office in the Kansas City area.
Yeah. So, again, you can call toll-free to schedule an appointment with Hovis and Associates, 833-827-5173. Be sure to mention KTRS, or just go to hovisandassociates.com. There's also no contact options available if people are still kind of, in that.
Correct. We can do anything over the phone. We can enroll people over the phone, however they want to do it.
This question comes in. I know Social Security is affected by how much money you make, but does the amount of money you have or make matter when it comes to picking out a plan?
So that actually does matter when you're paying your Part B premium. That is based on your income. And the confusing part for a lot of people is they look back 2 years on your income 2 years ago.
Oh.
So they may or may not be making the same amount of money in
Right.
2022 as they were in 2020.
Does it reset every year, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Somebody else. I'm 68, still working, taking on only a couple of prescriptions. My insurance at work, my deductible is $4,000 plus. I'm going to a seminar tomorrow. Any suggestions?
Yeah, why did you just oof on that one?
Well, $4,000 deductible is pretty steep based on the Medicare plans that are available. The plans in the St. Louis area are very competitive and just keep getting better.
Yeah. So again, really just give Kevin a call and set up an appointment, because that's going to be the best option,
right,
just to
because
compare
everybody's
everything.
situation is different, and the best plan for one person isn't necessarily the best plan for somebody
So
else.
they can he or she can still keep working, go on Medicare, and get a better deal than what they're getting
Possibly,
through work.
yeah. We just need to look at it and compare what's available with their current coverage.
And I guess we should remind people as well, you can actually enroll 3 months prior to your 65th birthday, or is that changed?
So it's the initial enrollment period starts 3 months before the month you turn 65, the month of, and 3 months after.
Okay.
So we could technically submit the application, but they wouldn't be effective until the first of the month that they turn 65.
Yeah. All right, Kevin, all of this information is overwhelming, but you have done a fantastic job sorting through it. Again, you can reach Hovis and Associates at 833-827-5173. Kevin Hovis, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah.